Good day, class, and welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We are going to talk about Essay 3 today. Now, you've been gathering information with interview and surveys, and remember those surveys, those completed surveys are due this Thursday. Your interview evaluation is hopefully complete or near complete because that's due tonight. Please remember to submit your notes and your revised interview questions. So you should have each question and then your notes on about that question, their responses to that beneath it, and the next question, and so on and so forth. So you will include that information and your interview evaluation in the interview evaluation and notes Dropbox. You can submit one document or two documents. That's entirely up to you, but make sure you label each part, okay? And you'll submit that in the Dropbox tonight. And again, your completed surveys are due on Thursday. Now, your completed surveys can be submitted in different ways. It depends on how you chose to send those surveys out. If you use something like SurveyMonkey, it allows you to download the results, so you can submit that document. If you use Facebook survey, maybe you take screenshots of each set of responses, or if it allows you to aggregate that information in one place, then you can upload that. If you sent out surveys via email, then make sure that you upload each document. I need to show that 10 surveys were completed, so I need that information. It will also help me guide you if you have questions when it comes to using that data. Now, Essay 3 will use your interview and survey information and data that you've gathered. That will be your only research, with the exception of one thing. Now, that one thing comes at the first of your essay, so at the beginning of your essay, it will begin with who you're going to write to. So what I'm going to do now is talk to you about your Essay 3 and specifically what's involved. Like I said, the first part is who are you writing to? You have to know this is a professional letter, okay? So it's half a page to a page, and it's directed at a specific person. So you will need to identify who is specifically in charge of your topic. Now, if you chose a topic at UCO, all that information is available online. And the same is true if you chose something that is in your local community or at your school. So finding that information will just take a little searching on the web. You want to make sure that you do find the specific person in charge of your topic, not just the person in charge of the whole school, for instance. So you can't say the president of the university. It needs to be someone specific. So if your topic is Ayers Cafeteria, who's in charge of Ayers Cafeteria? Who's in charge of food services? If you chose something like public transportation in the community, well, who's in charge of public transportation in the community? Find that specific person. You can find that on a local website. So it will take a little bit of time and some digging, but you can find a specific person and their title if they have a title. Now you'll begin your professional letter by saying, "Dear so-and-so." So whoever that is. And you need to make sure you use their full name, so first and last, and spell it correctly. If they have a specific title that's listed, so if it's director, dean, doctor, make sure you place their title before their name. If there's no title, then you can put Mr. or Ms., MS. Do not use MISS or MRS, Mrs., unless they've indicated that on the information page where you found their name and their information that shows that they are in charge of that topic. You can just say dear and their first and last name if you don't know their proper title. It's best not to guess because you want to be as accurate as possible. That's the first line. Dear so-and-so, comma, and then you go down a space and you will have the next line. Now, the first section of your Essay 3 or your professional letter is just about 3 sentences. It's really short. It can be 3 to 4 sentences. And it's not framed like a traditional paragraph because, again, you're practicing professional letter writing. The first sentence of this next section will be a salutation. Now, a salutation is your way of greeting or connecting with the person you're writing to. So it's very important that you actually connect. This is where you want to thank them for something that they've done well. It really helps when you're going to ask someone to do something to acknowledge something that they've already done well. So what have they done specifically? So if it's someone at UCO and they're talking about Ayers Cafeteria and food services, what is something that food services is currently doing really well? Be specific. Don't say something like, "Thank you for all that you do." That's vague, it's ambiguous, and it doesn't connect. It doesn't seem like you really know who they are or what they do. So be specific, and that first line is simply thanking them. The next line will introduce yourself. Now, it's important when you introduce yourself that you introduce yourself in relationship to the topic. You don't want to introduce yourself and it seem very disconnected from what you're discussing. Like, I like long walks on the beach and picnics. Okay, it's not a dating site. You're introducing yourself to someone that you are going to be having a professional conversation with through this letter. So you want to let them know who you are, but also how you're connected to the topic so they know why you care. So for me, I could say something like, my name is Julia Dane. I'm currently a professor at the University of Central Oklahoma, and I teach in the English department. So if my topic is about something that needs to be changed in the English department, that fits. Now, if you're talking about public transportation in the community, specifically Edmond, if you chose public transportation in Edmond and the need to increase public transportation, then saying, my name is whatever it is. I'm currently a student at the University of Central Oklahoma, and I don't have a car. Okay, I rely on public transportation. Or I'm an international student who's just arrived from a country that uses public transportation. So connect yourself to the topic, and some connections will be more explicit, so more direct, like the ones I just mentioned. Others will just show a connection. So if you are wanting to bring a soccer team to UCO, so a men's soccer team, and there currently isn't one, then you can mention that you enjoy sporting activities and engaging with other students on campus through sport. So connect yourself in some way to the topic in that next sentence. And again, it's not long, it's a sentence. Introduce yourself and connect yourself to the topic in one sentence. Then the third sentence will be the statement of your topic. Now, you don't want to state it like it is an actual issue, okay? You're stating the topic. So you could say that Edmond offers several types of public transportation to people who live in town. However, then state kind of the issue, but without going into too much detail. However, there are not very many pickup times, or not all locations are visited by the local buses. Okay, Ayers Cafeteria offers many different types of food, but doesn't seem to cater to who? Okay, so it could be vegetarians or vegans. You want to softly state it. So introduce your topic and then softly state the issue. You don't want to be too direct and say something like public transportation is awful or it's unreliable. You don't want to be negative. You just want to kind of bring it up. You're hinting at it. Because remember, you're practicing something that's called the Rogerian argument. It's a different type of argument where you really want to ease the reader into whatever it is you're discussing. You want to make them feel like you're on board with them, that you're connected, that you're showing an interest, because you want them to make a change. So we're easing our way into this. So that's the first section. It's just 3 sentences. It may be 4 if your introduction is a little bit longer, or if you spend a little more time in the salutation part where you thank them for something. But it really is just about 3 to 4 sentences. That's paragraph 1. Paragraph 2 will be where you present your interview and survey data. So this is written in a similar fashion to the Toulmin argument. So you restate the issue, kind of like a supporting claim. Then you make it more specific, like what you would with a qualifier. Then you present a piece of evidence. Tell us what that means. Present another piece of evidence. Tell us what that means. And the evidence, that's your statistics from your survey. You want to have a quote from your interview. You're just presenting that information. Evidence warrant, evidence warrant, evidence warrant. Okay? And then you end that paragraph with the concluding sentence, just like a Toulmin argument paragraph. So you've been practicing that for your essay too, so here you're going to use it again. Then paragraph 3, that's where you explain the information in paragraph 2. Now, you may say, well, I've already explained it when I gave the warrant for each piece of evidence. That's true, but reiteration is very important when making a personal argument, because this argument is a lot quicker. You'll remember your Toulmin argument was quite long. This is half a page to a page. If you're having a conversation with someone, it may be a 3 to 5 minute conversation. If you're presenting, it could be a short presentation, 5 to 7 minutes. So it's important that you go ahead and you reiterate the significance of what you've said. So paragraph 3 will be to explain the information in paragraph 2. You're reiterating it, not repeating it. So make sure that you rephrase what you're saying. You're basically telling us, so what? What does this information mean and why is it important? And then you end that section with a different type of concluding sentence because you're not going to summarize and transition. Here, what you're going to do is state what you want changed. This is the first time you bring up what change you want made. Okay, now you can have suggestions that people have made for changes up in paragraph 2 where you present the data and the information, suggestions and recommendations. But this is the first time where you directly state it. Okay, that's after you have reiterated the significance or importance or the so what of the information you present in paragraph 2. So in paragraph 3, so what? What does this mean? What's the significance? And then you state what you want changed, and that's called the call to action. Now your paragraph 2 will be the longest paragraph. Paragraph 3 is rather short, okay? It could be 4 or 5 sentences. It doesn't have to be very long, okay? It's not a complete body paragraph. It's just, basically think of it like an extended warrant. A warrant that reiterates everything you've already discussed. So it brings the information together, synthesizes it, and repeats it or reiterates it to the reader without being repetitive and repeating everything word for word. Then the last section, paragraph 4, you restate the call to action, again, reiteration. So you just told us what it is you want changed, restate that, but again, don't repeat it. You want to reiterate it. So change the wording, but what is it you want changed? And then discuss the benefits. So how would this call to action, how would this change impact the population, the group you're looking at specifically? So how would it impact students who eat at Ayers Cafeteria? Or how would it impact students that don't have access to their own form of transportation, like a car? How does it impact them? And be specific. Don't be too broad where you're like, well, it will change their life. Give specific examples, okay? It's all about being specific. Couple of benefits, again, that's just a couple of sentences. And then you thank them. Thank you for your time. I appreciate your attention. You write sincerely or best regards or regards. Then your name. The format for the professional letter, you'll find a link under news. So you can see the format, and again, I'll post a sample letter where you can look at format, and again, that's a format sample, not a content sample, so don't go, oh, well, they wrote it this way. You're just looking at the format, okay, because sometimes it helps to see that outside of just a sample link. So I will provide you with that. If you have any questions, please let me know. This will be due next week, so make sure that you pay attention to the deadlines. Ask me any questions that you have. I'm here to help. Now on Thursday, I will be posting another video, and you know I post the weekly updates, and those are usually just updates and reminders. This week I will be presenting some information on how to analyze the data from your surveys. Now you can go ahead and get started on that, but for some people that's rather new to gather that data together and decide what questions are connected and how to write that. So I'll post a second video on Thursday morning that will go over some of that information that you may find useful. But please do go ahead and get started working on your Essay 1. You can knock out your first section. So who were you writing to? That first paragraph, what are you grateful for? Introduce yourself and introduce the topic. And if you feel comfortable beginning to bring some of your survey data together, like if you have 9 out of 10 say something, that's 90% or most, then you can go ahead and work on paragraph 2. That's your Toulmin argument paragraph. Let me know if you have questions. I am here to help. I wish you all the best. I hope you have a wonderful week. Goodbye. Take care.